Hi there and welcome to the October RDAA Fisheries Report. No worries about Storm Kieran for us. We're safe and snug in the Redden District Hatchery, which is coming on fine. Dell's got the electrics working, got lights, haven't got any heating, but which is why I'm rugged up, but we're all good to go. So we will have all our usual features. We'll have our Fish of the Month award, we'll have our fishing pictures, we'll be having updates from Dell, updates from Jim, lots of news, some great fish have been caught over the last few weeks, and even with the floods and the rather interesting weather we've been having at this precise time, we're really looking forward to getting some proper late autumn, early winter fishing in. So let's get on with it. Right, so time for Fisheries Report. Dell, your hatchery empire is coming on.
Yeah,
what's
slowly but surely. Well, like anybody that's sort of had an extension built or anything like any building works going on sort of at home or whatever will know it sort of starts and stops, or it appears to. And we're sort of at that stop point where lots of stuff's going on behind the scenes and you sort of come in here every day and you think, well, what did I do yesterday, sort of thing. But so we're getting the electrics sorted out. I mean, we're currently running on a generator.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah, exactly. But we've had SSE come in. They've connected our mains feeding off the poles. We're now waiting on somebody to come and give us a meter, and then once that's all sorted out, we'll go live, so to speak. So yeah, we're a lot of stuff's been happening. Once the electrics are done, then we'll move on to the plumbing stage.
So when can we look forward to seeing all these tanks full of water?
Yeah, I want to get it wet by Christmas. So yeah, we've got 6-8 weeks.
Smashing.
And hopefully we'll have some water in it.
Lovely, and after the water, fish.
Yes, yeah, come March we'll have some fish in it, because as I've said before, once the plumbing and we've got the water in, there's going to be a lot of sort of balancing out tanks and this, that, and the other, and we will have problems. There's no two ways. I mean, there's no manual on this. It's a lot of sort of make it up as you go along almost. So we will have issues. So that will give us a sort of 3-month period just to iron out them before we then get the fishing.
Well, the good news is, because we are nice people, we've got very good relations with Fisheries, with Sparsholt, with EA at Calverton, so help is only a phone call away, isn't it?
Exactly. I've got more people to lean on than I could ever wish for. So anything we need really is out there, and lots of people are showing a lot of interest in this. To my knowledge, this is the first one that's ever happened in the country. A lot of people are excited by it. So,
well, let's hope so. So the whole idea, for those people new to this, is we are looking to try and restore the kennet to part of its former glory, to improve fish recruitment, particularly the gravel spawning species like chub and barbel that have really suffered as a result of crayfish primarily, isn't it? That's the big
amongst other things.
Yeah, right. Well, let's move on to more ordinary maintenance issues. You've been doing a lot of work down at Wiley's. I mean, we can show a bit of video here now, but you've mainly been getting Jim doing that, haven't you?
Yeah, well, to be fair, I'll use the royal we. Albie Cohen, our ex-chairman, always used to use the royal we when things were going great. He was keen to use the royal we when things weren't, but I'll use the royal we, but primarily it's Jim. Jim's been down there for, I think there was 3 weeks solid with tree surgeons, 3 tree surgeons plus Jim, 3 weeks solid, just taking trees down. I would hate to think how many tons of trees we've taken out of there. Now, I know a lot of people will go, oh, you're taking trees down, you're cutting trees down. We're taking down alders and crack willow. They are probably the 2 worst trees you could possibly have round the lake, because they have this terrible tendency to fall over. We've taken loads of these trees out, all the timber's being shipped off a site. And we're now in the process of sort of like the clear up before the otter fence goes up proper. I mean, one thing I will say, because people do get a little bit sensitive with trees, it's all above board. We have a felling licence. We've been to the Forestry Commission. It's all above board. Everything that has been cut down is going to be allowed to regenerate. When it regenerates, we can then manage it to our needs. And
exactly.
So,
I mean, and also the thing is, Dale, we're not going to spend many thousands of pounds of our members' money on an otter fence, and it's one of our few wards that needs one, to only have that fence made redundant in 3 years' time with trees falling over.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone that's a regular at Wiley's will know that the water table is really, really high there. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're literally talking a foot below sort of ground level. Mm-hmm. Now, willows and alders are fairly shallow rooting trees anyway. Couple that up with wet, boggy ground, and over they go. So, we're not going to spend £30,000 on fencing only for a scabby old thinking tree to fall over and wreck it. So, it's had to be done. I don't like taking trees out, same as anybody, but, we're going to manage what comes up.
Well, we know the potential of Wiley's, and again, we want to restore that lake back to its former glory.
Exactly.
It was one of the premier tench lakes in the Kennet Valley. Not so much for catching double-figure tench, but for getting a bag of tench, and it's a productive water, and with a bit of careful management, it'll be so again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the long-term sort of vision is it will be our mixed fishery, if you like. It'll be somewhere where you can go, you can have a decent walk round with a decent path, all gated, totally secure, and you can catch fish on a float under your rod tip.
Exactly.
That is what it's all about.
Lovely job. Yeah. Okay, well, let's just move on to a couple of other things. We did have a bit of an incident came up a week or so ago about people not being able to show their Clubmate profile to bailiffs. I think it's very important that we get the message across to people that Clubmate has been a real advantage. It's helped the club, it's helped the bailiffs, but it is your job as a member to be able to show to a bailiff proof of membership. And if you, for some reason, have trouble pressing those keys on your phone, take a print out of your Clubmate profile. Just make it easy for yourself, make it easy for the bailiffs.
Yeah. I mean, it's not rocket science, is it? At the end of the day, and we offer a service at the beginning and the start of the year where we can and we will print you off it if you haven't got things like printers. But the thing is, it is the member's responsibility to be able to show proof of membership. Now, whether that can be a receipt, it can be a profile picture, it can be a screenshot on your phone, it can be a piece of paper. It doesn't really matter. Now, the bailiffs have the facility to search you on the bank live. However, what tends to happen is Mick Smith, for instance, he's fishing away, bailiff comes along, what's your name? Mick Smith. So the bailiff puts in Mick Smith, but when the profile was set up, Mick put his name down as Michael, so you can't find it. So it just causes problems. So, one, try and keep it as simple as you can for the bailiffs. Use the same name, and spell it out to the bailiff as well. There's lots of different ways of spelling things. Smith, for instance, how many ways are there to spell Smith? If the bailiff can't find your profile on there, then just check with the bailiff that he's putting it in right, that he's spelling it the way you spell it. So we haven't had too many problems, to be fair, but one in particular has sort of brought this to the fore, and we need to make it a lot easier for everybody involved.
Yeah. And also, it's pouring the rain. Who wants to be tapping keys out? There you go. That's great. One last thing. Don't want to go into too much detail yet, but Del and I and others are talking about how we build on the brilliant work of our coaching team, and we run all these taster sessions on Callows and Wilmots. We've got kids coming through, but we've been thinking long and hard, haven't we, Del, about the next stage and how can we, if you like, turn people from an occasional angler to get them the angling habit. And that's all about learning how to fish some of our different venues. So we're kind of working a scheme up where we can put venue experts, venue regulars together with newcomers to the sport with some a series of programs next year. So I'm quite excited by it, aren't you?
I think it will fill that gap. Currently there's a bit of a gap between junior coaching, if you like, and sort of adults asking questions on Facebook, for instance, or something like that. It's to fill that sort of gap there. You know, nobody's in it. And a lot of people sort of struggle. You know, I could count on one hand the amount of all-round anglers I know that know everything that needs to be known, sort of thing. So, you know, every day's a school day, and there's no such thing as an expert. So I think it's got some. I think it's got some legs, definitely.
Well, I think the nice thing is we've got such a wide diversity of venues on our book. You know, we can cover everything from, you know, chub fishing on the Thames to trotting a stick float on a kennet to barbel fishing to lure fishing to carp fishing to pole fishing, the rest of it. So, you know, look out for an announcement in the near future. We're working up the details, but we are determined to do everything we can to help people enjoy their fishing and develop that lifelong angling habit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that's it.
Well, one thing
I've got one more thing.
I've got one thing yet to go.
Of course.
Anybody that came along to the open day we had back in July, was it July or was it August?
July.
It seems like so long ago when you look at all this rain. We'll see, talking of rain, we struggled like hell. I'm sure you could have actually caught fish in some of them puddles in the car park. So what we've decided to do in readiness for next year is we've had the whole of the Flint car park resurfaced at not an inconsiderable sum to ourselves.
Can we show a picture of that now?
Yes, there is.
Lovely.
And it looks lovely. It does look lovely. Now, it's not going to always look lovely, and you know, but there are a couple of signs up that restrict people's speed. And at the bottom, anybody that's been over there already will notice 10 miles an hour or lose your permit. Now, I'm serious with that. We have a lot of kids running around, not to mention ripping up our car park. Just calm it down a little bit.
Okay, 10 miles an hour. And while we're talking about the open day, we did announce it initially for July the 13th next year. But our special guest, which I don't think you're ready to announce
No, not yet. I think we'll keep that under our act for a little
but
while.
our special guest can't make it on the 13th, so we've put it back to Saturday, July the 20th. So date for your diaries, the 3rd Redden District Open Day, Saturday, July the 20th, Farnham Flint, and that's the date for next year. Right, one last announcement before we come on to our competitions. Angling Direct were due to open or reopen in Reading in October. We've missed them a lot. Obviously the town's been served by other angling outlets out there, but it will be good to have a major angling superstore back in the heart of Reading. They're reopening, I'm told, on Saturday, November the 18th. They're going to be coming down and doing a bit of filming with me and Dale first. There's some amazing offers. There's going to be 10% off everything on store, 50% off their own brand range, which is Advancer. Apparently a free breakfast back for the first 100 customers.
Well, I'm there then.
Well, there you go, you'll be there. There's goodie bags, and they've got an all-star lineup as they'd expect. Terry Hearn is going to be there, and quite a few other people. So, you know, we're really pleased to see Angling Direct back. So Saturday, November the 18th, that will be at Deacon Way in Reading. The shop will be open or reopened at 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. So get yourself along to their open day. Celebrate having a tackle shop back in the heart of Reading. And, you know, good luck to them. And, of course, good luck to all the other tackle stores that serve our members and serve our club.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think it shouldn't go without saying that, you know, Angling Direct have supported us with our competitions and this, that and the other, and I think it's only fair that we do the same with them.
There you go, so that's your plug, all right? We'll move on. Now, Fish of the Year competition. Well, I had quite a lot of entries this year, this month, month of October. Great big barbel, as you predicted. I think in our last video, you said the Kennet would produce a 17-pound barbel. I have to be honest with you, mate, I thought that was a bit optimistic. But then George Batsford proves you right and me wrong, because only a couple of weeks ago, he had this tremendous 17.06, 17 pounds, 6 ounce beast from the Kennets. Those of you that know the stretch will be able to spot it. Those of you that don't, that remains a state secret until you walk the banks a bit more. Wonderful, wonderful fish. Goodness knows how big that fish is going to be come February.
Yeah,
eh?
yeah. I'm not going to make any more predictions
No, I
because
don't
I
think
don't
you
think I'll be. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead, I think. But I mean, look, the 17-pound barbel is a magical fish, and you know the Kennet has got more than one in it. And I know of a couple of people that have had 17s in the past. So I was fairly confident with my prediction, but that is a huge fish. I mean, who knows, that could go 18, 19 pounds, something like that by the end of the year. Who knows? But I'm not going to predict anything.
Well, you got to feel sad for Mick Debman, Liam Hayes, other people you're about to see on the picture gallery, because they're knocking out 14 and 15 pound barbel. I think they thought they were going to win that.
Oh, you'd be gutted, wouldn't you? You would be gutted. You know, you catch a 15-pound barbel, it's in the bag any other time. But,
well, there you go. It's not this time. So, George, get in touch with us. Send us a message. £50 Angling Direct voucher comes to you, plus a little trophy. So, you know, and that's going to be a great fish at the end of the year. All 12 monthly winners will go into a pot for a vote by the membership for the fish of the year. But that's certainly going to be one of the contenders, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Right, well, let's roll the gallery and look at our fish picture competition for the month of October. Well, that's not a bad collection of fish for a month of changeable weather, was it?
Yeah, I think it's safe to say the barbel are feeding well this month.
Tell me about it. Well, I just actually want to highlight a few fish that aren't barbel. That carp, Rupert McCart's £20 Kennet carp, I imagine that's probably from one of the lower reaches. That's a beastie, isn't it?
That is a beastie.
And are there many in the river?
There's a good few. I mean, they're very localised, and you know, I wouldn't advise anyone to go and actually sort of target carp in the Kennet as a whole. Right. But there are certain areas, if you do your own work, where you know there's some very big carp.
Well, I can remember, and when they were pest, believe it or not, and it was the summer floods of 2007. And it took out a whole load of carp from Linear up in Oxford, and it took out a lot of carp from some of the pits up at Newbury. Yeah. And we were fishing for roach and chub in the winter. We were smashed to buggery by these. Yeah. But I think they were Newbury Angling Club's carp that were on their way down to the Thames.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's well documented that some of the fish that are swimming around in Flint, Engerfield, Pingewood, you know, our canal carp, which got in there from floods, you know. So it's possible to get some decent carp, but, you know, too many in a riverine environment. Anyone that looks on Facebook would have seen my post up. I put a big long rant about it. Too many in a riverine environment is not good news.
No. Well, I'm not encouraging them, but there we go. Well, let's move on to a more natural river fish. Shout out for Shane Page. I know Shane's been struggling with his barbel fishing this year. This was a lovely chub that Shane has, and Shane's got this ability to take a really good fishing photo, hasn't he?
Yes, yeah. I mean, he's as good a photograph taker as he is, you know, as an angler, and I think I'm right in saying they're all self-takes as well. So,
yeah. Well,
you know,
do you remember when we did the brochure for Redden District a few years ago? There's loads of Shane Pages in there because he was
exactly.
He was doing the business.
Yeah.
Another fish that I thought was exceptional this month, again not a barbel, and we've had plenty of those. Darren Muswell with this 21 4 lure caught pike.
Yeah.
I mean, a 20 pound pike is a big fish, but
yeah,
on a lure.
A 20 pound pike from anywhere is a big fish, and certainly around these parts, you know, they're rare. They're proper rare. I mean, you know, 30, 40 years ago, there was a big pike explosion around this area, and, you know, a 20 pounder was fairly commonplace. Yeah. However, anyone that knows their pike fishing knows it sort of peaks and troughs, and it looks like we're sort of starting to come out of this sort of trough. And, you know, I think there was a 20 pounder in our gallery last year, I think, if I remember rightly. Yeah. So, you know, they are out there, but, you know, they are rare, and that's a hell of a fish, especially on a lure.
Yeah, well done to him. Right, well, it's your job to decide the winner, who of course gets a nice prize. So over to you, Dale. Who have you chosen?
It gets, as I keep saying, you know, with these modern phones and, you know, people sort of actually working out, not like me being an old fogey, don't know how to use it, but you know, they use these phones to outstanding. Some of these photographs would have won competitions 20 years ago, you know. Yeah. So this is getting really, really hard. But the one that stands out for me is Tom Landegg. One, it's his first barbel, which is always a momentous occasion, and two, it's a cracking photo. It really is a cracking photo. So well done, Tom. You get the Redden District cap, and you have your choice of either coarse fishing sort of baits and pack, if you like, or carp fishing one. Just message us via our message account on Facebook and let us know what you got, and we'll get it into the hut. That's all courtesy of Bait Tech and Royal Atchison Bait and Tackle, who again, you know, support us with our prizes and whatever. So well done, Tom.
Well, thanks for that, Del. A worthy winner. It took me a long time to get an £8 barbel, never mind it being your first one.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a different world back then, so yes. Great to see. Okay. Well, Jim, your turn. So you predicted some decent barbel last month, and they've certainly come out. We're now looking at November, very changeable weather. Obviously, at the moment, everything's flooded to hell. Yeah. When the waters recede, what's your tips?
Well, one look at the Facebook page is going to obviously be a barbel, continuing on right through this winter. The Kennet is absolutely full of barbel. One look at the Facebook page, there is barbel consistently on a daily basis coming out at the minute. So as this winter's coming now, definitely going to get your barbel rod sorted. For the guys that haven't been out there sort of targeting barbel this year or anything, it's not difficult. You've just got to put the time in, find the right areas that are sort of favourable for it, and you can have some great days out barbel fishing.
What about other species?
Another one's going to be roach as well. Roach at the minute, especially with these rivers up at the minute, these sort of silverfish, not the roach themselves, but lots of silverfish will sort of congregate in certain areas, and if you know where to look, you can have some great days fishing. A lot of the sort of canal confluences can be great areas for it, where you've got sort of backwater coming out, and then it just goes off into a big slack where the canal's coming in. They can be some great days. Stick floats, feeders, you'll catch them.
And of course, talking of those canal confluences and the way the bait fish move around, not far behind the roach are going to be those big perch on both the Kennet and the Thames. what sort of conditions do you think people should be looking for if they decide to target perch?
I'd say you don't want to be sort of targeting the perch if the waters are really coloured. You want it to be fining off a bit, just so those perch have got that little bit of clarity.
Yeah,
where
they're
they can
visual,
get
aren't
on
they?
it.
They're
Yeah.
visual feeders.
Yeah, and again, a lot of people have always said, oh, perch fishing, just as the light's dropping in the evening is the best time to be out there. I've actually found that sometimes going on an early morning session for the perch can be really good. I was chatting with Dale the other day and we were sort of speaking about perch, and we were saying, like, these perch, they're feeding most of the way through the day. From that last light in the evening, they've got a long period until first light in the morning. So they've digested all of that food. So that first light in the morning is when they're going to be out there, they're going to be seeking stuff, they're going to be chasing bait fish. So for the guys with lure rods, it's a great time to be out early morning.
Yeah, and of course, don't forget the lobworms.
Yeah, the lobworms. Plenty of lobworms. You can catch a few perch there. And the thing is, with the lobworms, you don't just catch one or two. If you can get them really feeding on them lobs, you can catch the shoal.
Yeah, well, that's right. And of course, lastly, of course, we're coming into winter. It's definitely chub time. But again, with chub, you don't want the water this colour, do you?
No.
You really want to wait till it get that nice green tinge on both the Thames, Kennet and the Loddon, really.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, once that river starts to fine out, get yourselves up on the Thames or anywhere on the Kennet, get yourselves your feeders, your liquidised bread, cheeses, all those standard chub baits, and there's some whacking great big chub to be caught on the Kennet and the Thames.
Yep, well, target, I mean, we used to our target fish, when I was your age, the target specimen chub was £5. Now it's £8.
Yeah.
That's how it's changed.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much, Jim, for your advice, and you know, let's see how accurate you were when we come to review this in a month's time.
Yeah. Them chub will be on the feed, guys. Make sure you're there for them.
Okay, so that's it for another month. I hope you found that interesting. Be careful out there. The rivers are swollen, the banks are muddy and slippy, but as that water finds off, there's going to be yet more great fish to report when we come to be doing this in a few weeks' time. Have a good time and tight lines.